Welcome back to Mass Appeal. There's an upcoming speaker series. It's in Springfield, and it provides a forum for you to learn, discuss, and exchange ideas on important issues that affect our society. And that's never been more important than it is right now. And here to share more information, we have Paige Brody, Executive Director of the Springfield Public Forum. You came on the show last year talking about it. Yes. Great event. Give us a general overview. What are these forums, and what can we expect from them?
So the Springfield Public Forum is a speaker series. Essentially, that's what we're most well known for, is the events that we host at Symphony Hall, where we invite leaders and experts in their field to come and do a presentation. And we really cater to people who are just curious about the world and how it works and want to learn more. You know, our tagline is igniting minds in conversation, and that's really what we aim to do. And most importantly, we want to be accessible to the public and be a true public forum, so all of our events are free.
And they're the big topics, too, because I think so easily in our society we get bogged down. We read the top headline and we're talking about these issues, but that doesn't give us time to talk about the big stuff, the stuff that is arguably just, if not more, important. So we're going to talk about the first two events that are coming up. The first one's all about the trash trade. Tell us about that. Well,
talk about a topic that you probably didn't expect to be very interested in, but it's actually quite fascinating. So our first speaker is on October 1st. Is a journalist and author by the name of Adam Mentor. And he was actually born into a scrapping industry family. And so he had an inside look at what happens to all of the things we throw away. But it led him on this adventure around the world to try to figure out what actually happens to the things that we set out on the curb each week in our recycling bin. We kind of think they magically disappear, but they actually go on this journey around the world and have huge impacts on economies and the environment. And he really kind of goes in depth to what happens to that, and actually some of the economic opportunities that Americans are really missing, because other places in the world have really figured out ways to make money off of things that we thought were worthless when we put them in the recycling bin.
And it's so important that we talk about that. You see landfills, sometimes when I drive on the Mass Pike, you see those huge landfills, and you hear stories about the middle of the Pacific Ocean. There's an island that's purely made of trash.
Yeah.
And it's terrifying.
Yeah, there are huge environmental impacts, you know, to what we throw away. But he talks about that, as well as the economic impacts and how there are little microeconomies blossoming all over the world from people who have figured out how to take what we've thrown away, remake it into something we can't wait to buy back. It's actually a really fascinating ecosystem.
That's something. It's so important that we have this discourse, though, because otherwise you never think about these things. The next thing that we're doing is drafting a blueprint for peace. That's the next talk in the speaker series.
That will be on October 15th. And that is a gentleman, he's really, truly a visionary educator by the name of John Hunter. And we're really excited to host him. He became most well known for designing and inventing something called the World Peace Game. It was intended to be a way to teach school-age children about world problems and how to tackle them and how to discuss them and to talk about the problems and the solutions. And what he found is that it was an essential skill-building exercise that really taught them things that were applicable way beyond the classroom. And it's caught the notice of many, many people outside of education. Even Leon Panetta invited him and his students to the Pentagon to talk about the things they had learned in negotiating and the skills they had learned with coming back from failure.
And these are fourth graders.
Right. And this is all through setting up this kind of simulation game to teach them how to tackle complex problems. And
one person with one idea made such a drastic difference, and really couldn't be changing the face of education.
That's the idea. But and as we're finding too, there are a lot more applications beyond the classroom. You know, these are skills that communities and governments alike can use to kind of, you know, surpass barriers and work together to create problems in a peaceful way instead of creating violence.
So the speaker series at Springfield Symphony Hall. It's every other week or so. There's two more events we haven't even gotten to today, but the best part is you're going to come back and talk about them some more.
Sure, and of course I have to mention, very importantly, that all of our events are free. You don't need a ticket, you just show up that night. Parking's very cheap downtown, and you can always find out more about our events on our website, springfieldpublicforum.org.
If nothing else, why not go? It doesn't cost a thing.
It's a lot of fun.
Thank you so much for stopping by today. It's always a pleasure to talk to you about these big issues, because we never get to. And now,